The Silk Road was a network of trade routes connecting China and the Mediterranean. These routes were not just one path, but a complex web that facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures. The term Silk Road was coined by the German geographer Ferdinand von Richthofen in the 19th century. Von Richthofen used this term to describe the extensive network of trade routes that had been active for centuries. The Silk Road was established during the Han Dynasty, 206 BCE to 220 CE. The Han Dynasty's expansionist policies and strong central government helped to secure and develop these trade routes. Silk was one of the most valuable commodities traded along the Silk Road. Chinese silk was highly prized in the Roman Empire for its quality and beauty, making it a major driver of trade. The Silk Road extended over 4,000 miles, 6,437 kilometers. This vast distance covered various terrains including deserts, mountains, and grasslands, making travel challenging. The Silk Road facilitated the spread of Buddhism from India to China. Buddhist monks and traders carried religious texts and artifacts, helping to establish Buddhism in East Asia. The city of Samarkand was a major trading hub on the Silk Road. Located in modern-day Uzbekistan, Samarkand was a cosmopolitan center where merchants from different regions met and exchanged goods. The Silk Road also saw the trade of spices, precious stones, and metals. Spices like pepper and cinnamon, along with precious stones and metals, were highly sought after in both the East and the West. The Silk Road was not just a trade route, but also a cultural exchange corridor. Ideas, religions, and technologies traveled along these routes, leading to significant cultural exchanges. The Silk Road was active from around 130 BCE to the 15th century. Despite periods of decline, the Silk Road remained a vital network for over 1,600 years. The Mongol Empire under Genghis Khan played a crucial role in maintaining the safety of the Silk Road. The Mongols established a system of protection and support for travelers and traders, ensuring the smooth flow of commerce. The Silk Road connected major civilizations such as China, India, Persia, and Rome. These civilizations benefited from the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies, fostering mutual growth and development. The city of Kashgar was an important stop on the Silk Road in Central Asia. Located at the foot of the Tian Shan Mountains, Kashgar served as a gateway between China and the West. The Silk Road was not limited to land routes. There were also maritime routes. Sea routes connected the Indian Ocean and the South China Sea, facilitating trade between East and Southeast Asia. The Silk Road was instrumental in the spread of papermaking technology from China to the Islamic world. Papermaking techniques, which originated in China, were adopted and further developed in the Islamic world. The Silk Road contributed to the spread of gunpowder from China to Europe. Gunpowder, invented in China, eventually reached Europe via the Silk Road, revolutionizing warfare. The Silk Road facilitated the exchange of agricultural products like grapes and alfalfa. These crops were introduced to new regions, enhancing local agriculture and diets. The city of Dunhuang was a key oasis on the Silk Road. Dunhuang, located in the Gobi Desert, provided a vital stopping point for caravans traveling between China and Central Asia. The Silk Road was also a conduit for the spread of diseases like the bubonic plague. The movement of people and goods along the Silk Road sometimes led to the spread of diseases, including the Black Death. The Silk Road influenced the development of art and architecture. Artistic styles and architectural techniques were shared and adapted along the Silk Road, creating unique blends of Eastern and Western influences. The Silk Road was used by famous explorers like Marco Polo. Marco Polo's travels along the Silk Road in the 13th century provided Europeans with detailed accounts of Asian lands and cultures. The Silk Road was a major factor in the rise of the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantines benefited from the trade and cultural exchanges facilitated by the Silk Road, enhancing their economic and political power. The Silk Road was a significant factor in the spread of Christianity to Central Asia. Christian missionaries traveled along the Silk Road, establishing communities and spreading their faith. The Silk Road was also a route for the spread of Islam. Muslim traders and scholars played a crucial role in the spread of Islam along the Silk Road, influencing local cultures and practices. The Silk Road was a source of inspiration for literature and art. Many works of literature and art, such as the Tales of the Thousand and One Nights, drew inspiration from the stories and experiences of Silk Road travelers. The Silk Road was a catalyst for technological innovation. The exchange of knowledge and ideas along the Silk Road led to advancements in fields such as navigation, medicine, and engineering. The Silk Road was a platform for the exchange of musical instruments and musical styles. Instruments like the lute and the violin traveled along the Silk Road, influencing musical traditions in different regions. The Silk Road was a means of spreading religious texts and scriptures. Religious texts, including Buddhist sutras and Christian gospels, were transported and translated along the Silk Road. The Silk Road was a conduit for the spread of scientific knowledge. Astronomical, mathematical, and medical knowledge traveled along the Silk Road, contributing to the advancement of science in various regions. The Silk Road was a channel for the spread of artistic techniques. Techniques such as silk weaving, pottery, and metalwork were shared and refined along the Silk Road. The Silk Road was a route for the spread of languages. Languages like Sogdian and Persian became lingua francas along the Silk Road, facilitating communication and trade. The Silk Road was a pathway for the spread of culinary traditions. Foods and cooking methods, such as noodles and tea, traveled along the Silk Road, enriching local cuisines. The Silk Road was a means of spreading fashion and textiles. Styles and materials, such as silk and cotton, were introduced to new regions, influencing fashion trends. The Silk Road was a route for the spread of medical practices. Traditional Chinese medicine and herbal remedies were shared along the Silk Road, influencing healthcare practices in different regions. The Silk Road was a conduit for the spread of philosophical ideas. Philosophical concepts, such as Confucianism and Taoism, were transmitted along the Silk Road, influencing intellectual thought. The Silk Road was a platform for the exchange of military technologies. Military strategies and technologies, such as the use of stirrups and crossbows, were shared along the Silk Road. The Silk Road was a means of spreading agricultural techniques. Farming methods and tools, such as irrigation systems and plows, were exchanged along the Silk Road, improving agricultural productivity. The Silk Road was a route for the spread of legal systems. Legal codes and judicial practices were shared along the Silk Road, influencing the development of law in different regions. The Silk Road was a channel for the spread of educational practices. Educational methods and institutions such as madrasas and academies were established along the Silk Road, promoting learning and scholarship. The Silk Road was a means of spreading artistic motifs. Artistic motifs and designs, such as floral patterns and geometric shapes, were shared along the Silk Road, influencing visual arts. The Silk Road was a conduit for the spread of musical genres. Musical genres such as classical Persian music and Chinese opera were transmitted along the Silk Road, enriching cultural expressions. The Silk Road was a route for the spread of religious festivals. Religious festivals and celebrations, such as Nowruz and the Dragon Boat Festival, were shared along the Silk Road, fostering cultural exchange. The Silk Road was a means of spreading literary traditions. Literary traditions, such as epic poetry and prose narratives, were transmitted along the Silk Road, influencing literary forms. The Silk Road was a platform for the exchange of architectural styles. Architectural styles, such as the use of domes and arches, were shared along the Silk Road, influencing building design. The Silk Road was a route for the spread of philosophical schools. Philosophical schools such as Stoicism and Neo-Confucianism were transmitted along the Silk Road, influencing intellectual discourse. The Silk Road was a means of spreading medical theories. Medical theories such as the concept of the four humors were shared along the Silk Road, influencing medical practice. The Silk Road was a conduit for the spread of legal codes. Legal codes such as the Code of Hammurabi were transmitted along the Silk Road, influencing the development of law. The Silk Road was a channel for the spread of educational institutions. Educational institutions, such as monasteries and universities, were established along the Silk Road, promoting learning and scholarship. The Silk Road was a means of spreading artistic techniques. Artistic techniques, such as calligraphy and painting, were shared along the Silk Road, influencing visual arts. The Silk Road was a route for the spread of religious texts. Religious texts, such as the Quran and the Bible, were transported and translated along the Silk Road, influencing religious practice. The Silk Road's significance, from its economic impact to its role in cultural and intellectual exchange, underscores its profound influence on the interconnectedness of ancient civilization and the development of the modern world.